Hello and welcome to Tuesday DJ Gig Tips, brought to you by Vibo, the music planning app. Last week I did a video talking about a price hike that I've done on my DJ services, and it's an adjustment for inflation. Everything's going up, fuel, cost of living, all of those fun things. So I've raised my prices to help take the burden off of myself, my business, and my family. But, some people have said they've raised their prices and they've noticed that they're not getting as many bookings because of it. So, what do? How do you get around this? How do you not alienate all of your client base that you currently have and still raise your prices? Well, everybody's going to have their own philosophy on how to do this. Couple things I will say before I get into my suggestions on how to combat this is that I think every market has this ceiling that you hit. And at that point, your services are unaffordable for most of your client base. Or maybe you cost a lot more than the next guy. You've kind of priced yourself out of the market. Every market's a little different. And, especially for your current client base or the people who are attracted to your services. When you are doing something like a drastic price hike, I think that you need to think to yourself, okay, I'm going to lose some people in my current client base. Some may come along with me, but I will lose some of them. But what you have to have in mind is a target audience that you're trying to hit and what they're willing to pay up for your services. You got to have somebody in mind. If you just arbitrarily raise your prices without taking this stuff into consideration, I think that might be a little tough. Now, I went up 20%, which isn't a huge dollar amount in the grand scheme of things. And I don't think most of the people who would normally contact me for my services are going to cringe too much on that. But having said all that, without talking dollar figures, because it's going to be different for everybody no matter where you live, I went up 20%, like I said. This is how I do it without having a lot of sticker shock. Some people talk about packages, and that's fine, you can have packages. Every time I think of package, I think of Barry Gibb tight pants. So I don't really like that word. That's just a thing with me. But I don't really think of packages. I think of services. Now, I do have something that I call my base price. It's kind of the buy-in for my services. And it looks like this. It's a system that's really good for probably, up to maybe 150 people with the speakers. It's lights. It looks nice. There's a wireless microphone involved. All the music's there. And I've taken into consideration a business plan on this. Rental of the equipment, time invested in preparation, hauling the stuff there, fuel prices, out-of-pocket expenses, annual expenses, plus paying myself. I've got this base price. And the base price, if you look at the figure on it, it doesn't look outrageous. And most of my clients are gonna just need that. They don't need anything more than a system that's good for probably up to 150 people and some really nice basic lights, wireless microphone, all the music. I'm not going in and saying, okay, speakers in a system is this, I'm charging extra for a wireless mic, I'm charging extra for lights. I'm not doing that. It's all inclusive buy-in, and here's the price for it. It's going to work for most of my clients. Having said that, I have other clients who need more. For instance, I may have clients that need things like wedding ceremony. They're going to have to pay for that. That's in addition to the base price. That's an add-on. We won't call it a package. We'll call it an add-on. Maybe somebody wants more lighting. They want, perimeter lighting in the room, uplighting, something like that. That's going to cost more. I have a gig coming up this weekend where they have 350 people. Well, that's what they initially told me. I was told this week it's down to 250. But even at 250, my system that I'm confident that will work for up to 150 people isn't enough. So I've got to bring in additional sound reinforcement. And that is something I'm charging the client for. This client does not want wedding ceremony, nor have they asked for perimeter lighting, but they did ask for 2 hours of extra time above and beyond what I offer in my base buy-in price. So they're paying for that. It becomes an a la carte thing. So most clients are going to just need the basics. Some may need more. Whenever I take a phone call and somebody asks how much, I give them my base price and I explain to them that it's all inclusive, good for about 150 people, and it has the wireless microphone, the lights, all that stuff. If you need something more than that, let's figure it out together. And we do. And I have prices for all of those other things. And I also figure in things like, my home area. If I've got to travel 3 hours somewhere to do an event, of course I'm going to charge them for that. And those travel prices have obviously gone up because of fuel costs and lodging costs. I'm sure those have gone up too. Not that I do a lot of lodging. Even if I'm doing a 6 hour away gig, I'm typically knocking it out in one day, because if I get a hotel room, I'm going to lay there and think to myself, gee, I've been laying here awake for 4 hours. I could be 2 hours from home by now. And then you're laying awake for 7 hours saying, gee, if I would have just left, I would have been home an hour ago. So that doesn't work for me. My brain just doesn't turn off for me at gigs. But maybe you guys do that. Maybe when you're done with an event, you're exhausted, you go right to bed. I don't. I'm up all night because I'm for lack of a better term, pumped. At any rate, you still have to charge for those things. So anyway, those are some ideas on how you might be able to bring your prices up to help meet inflation, yet not completely price yourself out of your market. You got to be careful with this. You got to be careful with the numbers. They got to make sense on paper, but there's just an idea for you today, and that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. I really do appreciate you. We got more videos coming up, plus the gig this weekend. Practice and enjoy.